Hello and welcome to the future site of my forge. Started building it out of a Quonset hut that we've had on the property for 10 years now, and unfortunately I forgot to start videoing before we started the project, so I'm going to take you on a quick walkthrough as to what we've done. So we started with shale on the ground, and actually before that this was actually just an open lot with cleared out, and it was just hilly, kind of like you see back here. And then we had a friend of ours fill it in with shale for us. Now on the edges over here you can see that there's wood laid down, and so the wood wouldn't spread out, we actually attached it down underneath here. You can see down in there is wood going the entire length, which is 16 feet. From there we took I-beams that were part of the structure, and we laid them down on the wood and screwed them down in to provide a little more stability. We did this on both sides. After that we started assembling the ribs, which you can see right here. The first two ribs went up like a couple of wet noodles. They were very difficult to put together. I would think it would be impossible for one person to do it alone. After that, however, we were able to get the ribs up relatively easy, and we have a total of 5 that will be covered eventually. And as you can see right up in here, we've got supports that don't go the entire length. The Quonset hut was originally supposed to be 24 feet long, and we have it stuck at 16. Reason for this being because it was sitting out for so long, a lot of it got bent up, as you can see right there. So we decided, instead of building a full 24-foot length with questionable integrity, we would take the good pieces and make a 16-foot length. From here I have to cut off the 12-foot lengths into 8 feet lengths so that I can have the remaining 4 feet of the Quonset hut, and I'm going to put a 4-foot overhang on it. Now today's project is going to be cutting those, and hopefully by the end of the day we will have all the metal sheetings installed and a completed structure. Alright, now I've got the I-beams over here getting ready to use, and you might be able to see that some of them are not perfectly straight. Now, if you look down there at the end, you'll see that there are bends in some of them. That's what we've been dealing with for the entirety of this project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the bends in them, and I'm going to actually cut that length off because I only need 8 feet, not the full 12 feet that exists in these I-beams, and I need 6 lengths of 12 feet. So hopefully we can find 6 usable pieces. Now that I have all 6 beams cut, it's time to come over back into the Ford, or the Quonset hut rather, and I need to start screwing them in. Now before I can start doing that, if you'll notice, I ran out of screws when I was initially installing them, so I've got to go through back and find all the places where I was only able to put in one and double up on them so that it's as structurally sound as possible. I have all of the braces installed, all the additional screws installed into the braces. I still have to add 2 more in or I take that back, 6 more right here. But in order to do that, I am going to need to enlist the help of probably my wife. So see if we can't go find her and have her hand these up to me while I install them. As you can see, I've finished putting on all of the extra pieces there, and I'll have about a 4-foot awning. Now the next project that we have to do is we're going to take 2x4s and place them in between each one of these supports. The purpose of this is so that we could screw the sheet metal in and hopefully have a good seal so that it'll be watertight on the sides, and then from there we will put the sheet metal on the sides and then finally over the very top. So the other week I mentioned that I would be putting in these wooden braces next before putting on the roof, but as you can see above me, the roof is already installed. Now, shortly after I made the statement that we'd be doing these braces that you can see here, a buddy of mine stopped by for dinner, and he and I knocked this out in about 3 hours or so. So as we progress, the next step is going to be to put in the braces, and after that I'm going to be putting in some cable to run power out here. You can see it laying on the ground in the route that it's going to be taking to our home, so that I can get 120 and 220 out here, or 110 and 220 out here. So as you can see, now that I have a roof over my head, I've started moving some things in. You can see my forge back over here. This is an early 1900s forge. Needs some work. As you can see, it's pretty rusted out, not in the greatest condition. And then over here, you can see my anvil on the ground. I still have to bring my anvil stand over. Now this is the anvil stand that I built. It's nothing fancy, it's just 6x6 laid next to each other, standing on end. I think it's about 22 inches tall. Then I just took 2x4 and miter cut around the corners to create a little frame. And then if you notice on bottom, I drilled through the entire length of the wood just to put a couple rods in there and put some bolts on it, or nuts rather. just to kind of help hold it together even more. And it's about the perfect size for my 200-pound anvil. And this is an Emerson anvil, and it actually says horseshoe anvil on it, but it's out of Louisiana. And where I'm at, they actually don't ship. In fact, it's impossible to get an anvil shipped up here unless you pay freight yourself, which is outrageously expensive. So I ended up bringing this up from Michigan with me when I moved up here to Alaska.